All right, good morning, everybody. It's a little bit later in the morning today. It's 11:30. It's Wednesday, and it is May 23rd. Let's see, we're into part 5 now. Part 5 is really the growth years of DHA, and I'm going to try and do like a little lesson learned and then a little story. Hopefully I can do it. I've gone back to my this, not that sort of format. Somebody asked me if I was doing an Amanda Todd impression. I didn't even know who that was. I had to go Google her, and I watched her video. Kind of a horrible story. I promise you I'm not doing an Amanda Todd impression. So anyway, let's jump right into it. So we left off, part 4 was really DHA had been a one-man show for 5 years, and then had spent really, 13 or 14 years growing to 18 FTE. We're into March of 2008. We've won the big contract. We're starting to win task orders, and that was the explosion time for DHA, that at March of 2008, really through today. So what I tried to do is show you kind of then and now. So we left off the last part of the story. We were March 2008. We were about 18 people, maybe 2.5, 3 million in sales. And today, we're really, I just looked this up, we're 362 people. We're tracking towards about 50 million in sales. And this last part down here is talking about business pipeline. And we've got a few things to win, but we may actually be on track, not for 50 million, but maybe more like 60 million, and then even 70 million next year. So, you know, that's, and then the part I really want to get to is down here, this arrow. It took 10 years to move across here. And that goes into that theme I've just been pounding into you about, 8 years to get ready, 5 years as a one-man show. Really from 99 to 2007, 2008 was 14 more years to get to the explosion point. And then another 10 years to get through that transition from that smaller company to today. These are pretty massive time frames, 8, 5, 14, and 10. I mean, that's literally a lifetime, right? So I'm going to take you through a couple things. Some are very specific, some are a little more generic. This one's a little more generic. So I went back to this, not that, okay? And so what I'm trying to show you here, let me just show it to you. And then I'm gonna turn around and talk to you about it. So this, right? One of the things I learned over the last few years of this explosion from a 2 million to really a 40 or 50 million dollar company has been no ego. I mean, boy, does that sound crazy? The larger you get, the more you grow. It's really based upon you having being egoless, going and getting what Wayne Dyer called the egoectomy. Being able to say the sentence. I mean, you should practice it now while you're watching this, and through your next few days. This is a sentence that will serve you so well. You were right, I was wrong, I apologize. Or, you are right, I am wrong, I apologize. And you need to mean it. There are times when you're just gonna be dead wrong, and the person you're talking to was right. And you need to be able to say it. You need to be able to say it without ego, you need to say it without hurting, you need to be able to say it without a lot of practice. You need to be good with it, you need to mean it. And it's such a key phrase. Just learn it. Or you could say, look at this, or I can't be wrong. I'm the CEO, I can't be wrong. It'd be too embarrassing to admit I was wrong. I'm telling you, it's freeing. It frees your spirit if you can actually speak to, I was wrong, you were right, I apologize. That is a very freeing thing. That creates trust in you. That creates leadership in you. Probably the opposite. So we're at that middle of the day, so I'm going to get some distractions now and then as I go through this. So here's another one, okay? Hire for excellence. There's a lot of bad reasons. They're not this. There's a lot of bad reasons to hire, okay? You're going to hire a friend. You're going to hire a family member. You're hiring someone to help them, right? I'm going to help them up, not a hand out, right? These are terrible reasons to hire. You want to hire for excellence. You want to hire for the benefit of the company. And that might feel selfish if you're a one-person show or a small business, but I promise you, you hire for excellence. You hire for the good of the organization. You do not hire for the good of the individual when you make selections. It will probably end up being good for the individual, and hopefully you've developed a position, a culture, a way to support them that it ends up being good. But you are hiring for the benefit of the organization. You are hiring for the benefit of your client or your customer. You got to let that burn in. The other thing you need to avoid is best of the worst, right? I got to hire now. I'm in a rush. I've interviewed all these people. None of them are great, but that one's the best, okay? And so you said, in a panic, you said, I'm going to choose the best of the worst. I mean, that's just mailing yourself a bomb that's going to arrive up and blow up in your face in a week, a month, 6 months. Just don't do that. Hire for excellence, not because it's a family member, a friend, you're trying to help them out, give them a hand up, or you're in a rush and you got to hire the best of the worst. Don't do that. Let's see. Okay, right here, the sordid issue of money, okay? You need to run a company for a purpose. That purpose, by the way, is to make money. And it should serve a larger mission, and I'll talk to you about DHAs in a minute, but it's got to make money. You're running a business in America, and capitalist, you got to make money. If you don't have money, this thing's going down. So don't get all wrapped up in your higher purpose and lose the sight that it's not making money, because you're going to crash and burn. So you're not doing it to run. You're doing it to make money and serve a higher purpose. You're not doing it to be a pro bono shop. You're not doing it to be a job factory and bring a bunch of people in to help them out, get as many people on a payroll as possible. And you're not doing it to pad your pocket, right? Again, I'm telling you my story, my successes, my lessons learned. You are not the benevolent dictator. This is the difference between Uncle Dave and CEO Dave. I've done both. You need to be the CEO. You need to be the owner. So you're running a business to make money and serve a higher purpose. You're not doing it to give a bunch of people work, run a pro bono shop, or to pad your own pockets. Those are terrible missions. At DHA, we make money, trust me. We got no issues there. The other side of my channel, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Our larger purpose, though, is to serve the protection of the United States, the lifestyle that we share in the United States of America. And I know there's some of you out there that are outside the shores of the U.S., and no insult intended whatsoever. My mission for this company is to support the individuals who protect our way of life, protect our families, protect our kids, and protect the freedom we have to pursue things like this company, like these cars, like this channel. So I get to do both. I'm passionate about it. You can tell by the clients we've selected, the kind of work we've done, the stories I've told over the last couple, the cars I buy. I'm unabashedly pro-America, and I'm proud to serve it. So there you go. So let's talk about growth. Let's talk about growing a company. Look at this. Look how fancy I got. I taped 2 together. All right? That's how much I want to talk to you about growth. So again, I did this and not this, right? Here we go. This, not this, on how to grow a company. Okay? So let's go down number 1. One of the most basic things, right? You sell products and services that are like the ones you're already doing. And you're selling to clients who already know who you are, or very much like the clients you're already selling to. So you're selling like services, like products, to like clients. What you don't want to do is, I want to sell this, or I think it's cool, I like it, right? That's a terrible reason. Just because you like something doesn't mean you're going to be the person they want to turn to. So you want to sell something you're an expert in, something you're known for. And if you want to branch out a little bit, you expand off of that base. You don't go find another base. That's that momentum, building momentum. Stay focused on what you're good at and expand it a little bit, much like a bullseye to the first ring, both in target clients and target services. What you don't want to do, so here it is, sell to clients that are like yours. You don't want to wander off and go, I think these people are cool, or I want to be like him or her. I want to sell what she does. She sells to this company. She sells to this client base. So do I. You know, that's terrible. There are people who are attracted to you. Find out why they are and expand that ring a little bit. It's far easier. That's the hot network. You want to expand into a warm network. You don't want to wander off into the cold world. You'll get slaughtered. Here's the hardest one. You want to sell into something you have verified demand for. You've done your research. You've gone out and find out that somebody really wants this thing, that there are people out there who want it and are willing to pay for it. It's called market research. Happens all the time, but you need to do it, right? You can't go buy somebody else's. You can't believe somebody else that, oh, there's a hot demand for that. But how the hell do they know? And how do you know you can trust them? So make sure you do your own research. You verify that this product or this service is desired in the market you want to be in. If you want to sell something that's hot in Denver and you live in Atlanta, that's not good enough. You got to make sure somebody in Atlanta really wants the damn thing. So the last one I want to talk to you about now is reasonableness, reasonable growth projections, okay? They're supportable, they're verifiable, they're based on some more research. Crap, there's that word again. More work, more study, more research. So you want to make sure that if you have a target growth, you know what it's supported by. What you don't want to do, so let's go to the don't, right? And this is the way most people lead, okay? I want to see 20% growth year over year, or I want to replicate what happened last year, next year, and for the next 5 or 10 years. Based on what? That's the most stupid way to lead, is to say, I want X% year over year. And that is the standard method of people trying to grow. That makes no sense. You've done your research, you know your market, you know that there are 3 or 4 other groups that want to buy this that would double your company, then it's 100% growth. You know that there's a target audience out there that is double what you're selling to. You think you can get to it. So you now know, you know that there's a market, you know what they want, and then the last one is that you can scale up to it. You know, if you're used to producing 40 hours a week and you just sold 4,000 hours a week, you're gonna fail and leave yourself a black eye, or scramble to death, you and all the people around you, to get to it. So make sure it's researched, it's justifiable, you know why the growth percentage is there, you know where it's coming from, and you know how you're gonna get to it if you do win. Okay, it's enough on growth for now. So I'll go back to DHA and tell you some specifics. We're now kind of in today's world. I want to tell you really there's 3 things I want to talk to. And again, I'm going to use the this, not that. The first thing I want to talk to that's most important to me now is a stable platform. And so I just wrote down stable platform and foundation, clear separation of responsibilities, and deliberate and well thought out change. It sounds really good, doesn't it? It's hard to do, because look how real world these other ones sound. Okay, I want stable platform. I want clear separation of duties. I want deliberative change. I want well thought out change management. But listen to what's on the other side of these things. How much does this sound like your life? Lots of change with unexplained, and that is not explained and has no reason to it. All right? How about who's doing what? Because everybody seems to be doing everything. Everybody in the company or everybody in life has to be part of it, and there's no real clear delineation of duties. And look at this, big changes happen all the time, okay? This typically, and I ran my life like this for a long time. I ran the company like that. I used to come in and go, wow, I had this great idea, let's go do this. Are you kidding me? We don't do that anymore. We have a well-greased machine that is producing great money, great service, great products. And so I'm fine-tuning things. You know, that's been my mission now for 1.5 years. My role, my responsibility is to make sure the platform out here is stable, supportable, tweaked, improved, but any kind of change is well thought out and well communicated days or weeks before we attempt anything. So my last piece, I imagine we're up maybe 15 minutes or better. So I just want to jump into a few topics. I'm going to talk about this versus this a little bit. So let me see, I can hold this up. Somebody asked me if you could have my notes, and I said no, because they're just sort of crappy. But I'll at least show them to you. Okay, so let me talk you through it for a minute. What are you trying to create? Big picture, foundational conversation. Something you can't just spit into the camera, okay? Something that's gonna take some thinking time. Are you trying to create capability and culture? Or are you trying to create a confederacy, all right? I made the decision years ago. I wanted to create culture. I wanted to create a company. I wanted to create capability. I wanted to create something I could sell in the future to other clients. But I've seen a lot of companies around me, they create a confederacy of talent. And the difference is capability, culture requires things like face-to-face time. It needs a common work area, aka an office essentially. And you need to do coordination sessions, coordination meetings. Those are face-to-face one-on-ones. Those are face-to-face team where you can feel the environment with other human beings around you. The other model is a confederacy, and it works. It's just not very sustainable, and it doesn't create a sense of belonging or of place. and those are the symptoms of that kind of place. If you're creating, are everyone works from home, everybody Skypes, everybody texts, everybody IMs. There's no culture, there's no community. And I'll tell you, the ties you develop with that kind are instantly terminatable. That people will just, well, I'm kind of part of this thing, but there's a little bit one better here. Boom, I can just switch. If if what my email address is the only thing that changes from this team to this team, if I get $5 more an hour, I'm moving. Right? There's no loyalty. There's no sense of friendship. There's no sense of belonging to a larger mission. So I know that bucks all the trends. Everybody wants to work from home. How often do I have to come into the office? God, do I have to drive into the city? And the answer is yes. If you want to work for me and build something substantial and that can grow and serve a larger mission, I would recommend to you, not be 40, 50 hours a week, but you need to create a sense of place. People need to physically get together. I just want to make sure. That's one of the biggest changes I've seen is, all right, interruption number 2 done. So the other thing I want to talk about now is the second one, this one right here, celebration of success, okay? Celebration of success, I mean, it could be a party, right? I don't really care what it is, but we need to recognize when we succeed, when we win a new contract, when we get an option year awarded, or when somebody does something really cool for the client. So what I'm talking about, like little bonuses, spot awards, lunches, happy hours. We put on big happy hour events at my company. We do it a couple times a year. We do door prizes, and we give away 65-inch HD TVs. We give away round-trip airline tickets. I mean, we do a few things to just recognize success. Sometimes it's generic, sometimes it's this team, sometimes it's the company, and sometimes it's you. It's you. Hey, here's $100 and a note from me that says you're kicking ass, and everybody knows it. Versus, hey, that's what I pay you for, right? And a lot of people, I think, unknowingly go down the route of, hey, that's what I pay you for. You know, hey, we won a huge contract. Well, that's what I pay the proposal team for. Hey, we doubled our gross margin this quarter. Well, that's what I pay the finance team for, right? And it's very dangerous, very easy to go down that road. So just keep in mind, are you celebrating success individually, team-wise, and as a company? So this third one here that I wrote down is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Sounds kind of stupid, right? Growth causes you to go places you don't know how to do. Causes you to be ways you're not used to being. And if you're truly successful and you're getting more customers and more income and more infrastructure, it causes you to change. Almost no year is the same as the year before. I like that. I mean, I've become comfortable with that. I know that this year is different than last year. I know this year is different than next year. I like trying different things. I like trying things in different ways or new ways. Not a huge change, but just different ways of attacking problems, such as coordination, pay raises, bonusing my executives. I enjoy that. And it's a little uncomfortable, but at some point I've really become comfortable being uncomfortable. Doing these videos is a perfect example. To sit here and talk to a cell phone for 15, 20 minutes was, you know, way outside my bounds a few months ago. And I'm getting relatively comfortable doing it now. Okay, huge one. Stop, pay attention. If you're gonna learn one, this is a huge one, okay? Push out event horizons, okay? This is a stress management thing. The only difference in most cases between an emergency and something you gotta do is the time you have to accomplish it. Go to cars for a minute. If you have to stop from 60 to 0 and you have a quarter mile to do it, nobody cares, happens all the time. If you have 5 feet, that's a panicked emergency. So if you take that and bring that into your life, bring that into your company, bring that into your business, bring that into your job. The difference between emergency and urgent and high priority and an action item is the time you have to do it. And in most cases, you have the ability to push the event out. It's usually through procrastination we bring the horizon in on ourselves. And what I've found that has made me manage my stress most is I push things out in the calendar. I'm scheduling things for next week and 2 weeks out, and I've even got all my executive meetings scheduled all the way through the year. So I know what week they're in, what day they're on, what time they're in, and it gives everybody a sense of calm and stability. And then when people call me, I don't say, hey, I can't schedule that, I don't know what next week looks like. I pull up my calendar and I say, you can have Tuesday at 10, Wednesday at 3, Friday at 9. Which one works for you? So push things off. We know taxes come April 15th every year. Taxes should never be a panic for you, right? You should be getting them to your CPA, to your tax people at the end of the year, you know, and be working on them for a month before they're due, or file an extension, make the payment, and move forward. There's no reason for these things. Car maintenance, license plate tags, registration fees, and vehicle inspections. None of these should be surprises to us. Kids' birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, they're all calendarized, they're all there. It shouldn't surprise anybody that Thanksgiving is the 4th Thursday of November, but somehow it always runs over us. So the best thing you can do, in my opinion, in your business, in your life, is plan ahead and work those plans. You know, try not to let anything run over you. Life will throw us surprises, but you should have operating space in your day, in your week, to deal with it. You shouldn't have everything so packed in tight. I'll give you an example of what I mean. I have so many people come in late and say, well, the train was late today. I'm like, no, it wasn't. You just choose to take the last possible train to get into work on time. That's your mistake, not the train's. You know, take 1 or 2 trains early and be in a little bit early every day, and then when it's delayed, you get in on time. It's those kinds of decisions that I see people making poorly every day. Hey, I'm bad traffic, I missed the meeting. You gotta be kidding me. You know, leave early enough to, in case there is traffic, you're still here. That's the difference, in my opinion, between success and building a reputation of reliability and stability versus being like everybody else. So the last one I have for you today is, as the company grows, as your role changes, there's a fundamental concept that I would like you to grasp if possible. And because when it's a one-person show or a very tiny company, everything's on you. In fact, you are everything. And as you grow, we need to change that philosophy to, you give away all the credit. Everything is somebody else's credit. The reason these things happen are because somebody else did it, and all the blame comes to you. You take the blame, you give away the credit, you slide into that egoless part we talked about earlier, and you start delegating, you start trusting. You got to trust but verify, but it's not you anymore. Maybe you're the CEO, maybe it's your name on the door, maybe you're the owner, but as you grow, you have to slip to the side a little bit and let other people grow, make more, take on more responsibility, take on the credit. You remove the burden of blame, And you just have to change the role from it's all me to, hey, it's all you, and hey, that screw up was mine. And let people grow under you. It's hard if you got a little bit of ego. You like to make things happen. I know for years I operated my life and my company in what they call level 1 or level 0, if you know maturity models, and that is hero worship. And what I mean by that is you feel good about solving a problem, but most likely you created it. And so we spend our life creating little problems and then solving them and going home feeling good that we solved the problem. If you live in that model, if you really look at yourself, you're probably creating most of the urgency and most of the issues in your life. And then you get to fix it and you go home feeling good. That's kind of a zero-sum game. And so just try to look at that. So it's give away the credit, take the blame, delegate the trust, delegate and trust, and then review performance. And step away from it's all me. I don't know what else to tell you at this point. I think the last video in this series will be part 6, where I talk about from today forward, kind of what am I thinking. We'll talk about exit plans. We'll talk about kind of my event horizons. I've got events happening next year and 3 years from now and 7 years from now, and we can talk a little bit about that. So let's see, it's noontime on Wednesday. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll try to do part 6 tonight or tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.